Good day, everyone. With the Group 3, we're going to discuss the results, education, and life abroad. In this lecture, we will have 4 objectives. First is to analyze and evaluate the life of Rizal abroad. Second, to enumerate the countries he visited. Third, to discuss his education abroad. And lastly, to observe the life, culture, commerce, and industries of the European nation. After finishing the 4th year in the medical course at the University of Santo Tomas, Rizal decided to complete his studies in Spain, but it was kept secret in order to observe keenly the life, cultures, language, and customs in European nations, in order to prepare himself in the mighty task of liberating his oppressed people among Spaniards. In the year 1883, Rizal traveled from one country to another, from United States of America, Germany, London, Belgium, Paris, Madrid, Barcelona, Japan, and Hong Kong. Rizal's life abroad. On May 1, he left Calamba and began writing farewell letters to his friends and family. And on May 3, he boarded at the SS Salvadora using a passport of Jose Mercado, bound to Singapore. Rizal's departure in Spain was kept secret to avoid detection by the Spain authorities and the friars. Even his own parents were unaware of his secret mission, knowing that they would not allow him to go. Rizal in Madrid. November 3, 1882, Rizal enrolled in Universidad Central de Madrid in 2 courses, the medicine and philosophy, and letters. He also studied paintings and sculptures in fine arts, and took lessons in French, German, and English under private instructors. And on March 1883, Rizal joined the Masonic Lodge Acacia in Madrid under his Masonic name, Di Masalang.
Rizal in Paris, capital city of France. Jose Rizal arrived in Paris on Sunday morning, June 17, 1883. Rizal learned the French language and cultures in this city, visited Notre Dame Cathedral, Versailles, Napoleon's grave, etc. Rizal was mistaken by the Parisians as Japanese. That's why the prices of his food, lodging, and entrance fees were higher than those of other nationalities. In a letter to his family, he stated that Paris is Europe's most expensive capital. He could not afford the high cost of living in Paris, so he decided to go back to Madrid. 2 hospitals where Rizal made some observations. Laennec Hospital, Dr. Nekes treating his patients. Lariboisiere Hospital, examination of different diseases of women.
Studies completed in Spain. On June 21, he conferred degree in licentiate in medicine. He was not awarded the doctor diplomas due to the fact that he did not present the thesis required for graduation nor pay the corresponding fees. And on June 19, he was licentiate in philosophy and letters with the ratings of excellent.
Rizal life in other countries in 1885 to 1887. He went to Paris to obtain his knowledge in ophthalmology. In November 1885, he worked for 4 months as an assistant of Dr. Louis D. Riquet, a leading French ophthalmologist. At the studio of Juan Luna, he improved his painting techniques. Like all tourists, Rizal was attracted by the beautiful sight of Paris. He visited important landmarks like the Place de la Concorde, Arc of Triumph, the Place of Notre Dame, and others. According to Rizal, Paris is the costless capital in Europe. April 22, 1886, Rizal wrote a touching poem entitled To the Flower of Heidelberg. In February 1886, Rizal left Paris and went to Germany. He arrived in Heidelberg, a historic city in Germany famous for its old university and romantic surroundings. He lived near the University of Heidelberg and worked as an assistant to Dr. Otto Becker at the University Eye Hospital. Outside his apprenticing hour, he also listened to lecture delivered by Dr. Becker, a Prof. Khan. Rizal devoted his free time visiting Heidelberg Castle, Neckar River, a theater, and some old churches found in the city. Germany, in Wilhelmsfield, a mountainous village near Heidelberg where Rizal spent his summer vacation. For 3 months, he enjoyed the hospitality and kindness of the family. June 25, 1886, he returned to Heidelberg.
In August 1886, Rizal arrived in Leipzig. He stayed here for 2 months and doing a lot of writing and translating. He very much liked what he saw, the magnificent buildings, wide and clean streets, and amiable people. William Tell, written by Schiller, Rizal translated it from German into Tagalog so that Filipino might know the story of champion of Swiss independence. Rizal worked as proofreader in publishing firm. He attended also some lectures on history and psychology in the University of Leipzig.
In November 1886, Rizal arrived in Berlin. He was enchanted by the city because of its scientific atmosphere and absence of the racial prejudice. Dr. Fyodor Jagor, Rizal met for the first time, celebrated German scientist, traveler, and author in travels in Philippines. Dr. Rudolf Virchow, a famous German anthropologist. Dr. Jagor introduced Rizal to Dr. Virchow. Rizal became a member of the Anthropological Society, the Ethnological Society, and the Geographical Society of Berlin, upon the recommendation of Dr. Jagor and Dr. Mayer.
In February 8, 1888, Rizal arrived in Hong Kong and he was welcomed by Filipino residents. In Hong Kong, Rizal stayed at Victoria Hotel. Some of the Filipino residents welcomed Rizal, including Jose Maria Basa, Balbino Mauricio, and Manuel Riarte. During a 2-week stay in Hong Kong, Rizal studied Chinese life, language, drama, and custom. While in Hong Kong, Rizal engaged in cultural activities. The Chinese way of celebrating New Year, Chinese laureate parties, Chinese theaters, and visit churches and cemeteries. In February 22, 1888, Rizal left Hong Kong and his destination was Japan.
In Japan, February 28, 1888, Rizal arrived in Yokohama. One of the happiest interludes in the life of Rizal was his sojourn in the land of cherry blossoms. He was enchanted by the natural beauty of Japan, the charming manners of the Japanese people, and the picturesque shrines. Rizal was visited at his hotel by Juan Perez Caballero, secretary of the Spanish legation. He accepted the invitation for 2 reasons. He could economize his living expenses by staying at the legation, and he had nothing to hide from the prying eyes of the Spanish authorities. Things which favorably impressed Rizal in Japan were the beauty of country, the cleanliness, politeness, and industry of Japanese, the dress and simple charm of the Japanese women. There were very few thieves. Beggars were rarely seen.
Continued stay in Europe. Rizal went to Paris and Germany in order to specialize ophthalmology. He also traveled and observed the life and custom in Paris, Heidelberg, Leipzig, and Berlin. Rizal's visit in the United States. On April 28, 1888, Rizal arrived in San Francisco, California, and stayed there for 3 days. He visited some scenic and historical places, and here are some of the Rizal's impression of America. The material progress of the country, as shown in the great cities, huge farms, industries, and factories. The drive and energy of the American people, the natural beauty of the land, the high standard of living, and the given opportunities to the people. And he observed one bad impression. It is the lack of racial equality. And on May 16, Rizal left New York for Liverpool, England.
London. On May 25, 1888, he went to London. He stayed as a guest at home of Dr. Antonio Marregador, an exile of 1872 and practicing lawyer in London. May 25, 1888 to mid-March 1889, Rizal decided to stay in London because he could improve his English. Study and do an annotation of Antonio Margas Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas, and perceived it was a place for him to carry on the reforms he wanted for the Philippines.
In Paris, it was mid-March 1899. Rizal decided to move to Paris. He noticed the Persian life is different from the life he experienced in London. It was a city bursting with merriment, exciting events, and unending social gathering. The cost of living was also very high. He continued the study of various languages, especially the French language, which he was able to perfect during his 10 months stay at the French capital city. He organized a social club called Kidlat Club, a social club which brought together young Filipinos residing in Paris. Soon, the members of the said club founded a new Filipino society, the Indios Bravos, an organization which envisioned Filipino being recognized by Spain for being excellent in various fields of knowledge.
When Rizal moved to Brussels, he lived in a modest boarding house on 38th Rue, Philippine Champagne, accompanied by Jose Albert, who later on left the city and was replaced by Jose Alejandro. During his stay in the city, Rizal was busy writing his second novel, which was continuation of Noli. Aside from this, he also writes articles for La Solidaridad and letters to his family and friends. As a physician, Rizal spent part of his time in a medical clinic. For recreation, Rizal had gymnastics at the gymnasium and target practice and fencing at the armory. And his most famous and important articles are The Philippines Within a Century, The Indolence of the Philippines, and the Sobre la Nueva Ortografía de la Lengua Tagalog, or the New Orthography of the Tagalog Language. Rizal plans to go home. He could not stay in Brussels writing a book while his family in the Philippines were prosecuted. Rizal announced that he was leaving at Brussels at the beginning of the following month and would arrive in Madrid.
Rizal's misfortune in Madrid, 1890 to 1891. On August, he arrived in Madrid, and upon his arrival, he immediately sought help of the Filipino colony. Also, Rizal failed to get justice for his family. Together with Marcelo H. del Pilar and Dr. Damiador Gomez, he called on the Minister of Colonies in order to protest in the injustice committed by the Governor-General Valeriano and against Calamba Fox.